A dangerous chapter has started in the Russia-Ukraine war, with each passing hour making the situation increasingly precarious following a series of escalations. Moscow shot down dozens of drones in the early hours of Monday. According to the mayor's statement earlier, 84 drones headed for Moscow were downed in the past 24 hours. Airports in Moscow had to briefly suspend flights as well. In total, the Russian defense systems downed 301 drones overnight, as per the local news wires, citing the defense ministry. And this comes just days after a repeated Ukrainian strike on the city's oil refinery. Meanwhile, Russian attacks in Ukraine reportedly killed at least 6 people, including a boy and his father. Russian drone attacks in the southeastern Ukrainian city of Zaporizhia overnight and early on Monday killed 2 people and injured a further 7, according to Ukraine's emergency services. Russia also hit the southern Odessa region with a ballistic missile on Sunday evening, killing 1 and injuring 3 people, according to the regional governor. According to him, in fact, vehicles and fuel storage tanks caught fire after the strike hit an agricultural facility. The city of Sevastopol in Russia-annexed Crimea cancelled all open-air public events on Monday and will be keeping streetlights switched off, according to its governor, as he called on people to curb the electricity usage. The Kremlin has said intense work was underway to try to minimize the negative consequences of the fuel disruption in Russian-held Crimea following the Ukrainian drone attacks on the Black Sea Peninsula. Crimea has reportedly suspended fuel sales to the public and businesses, with supplies restricted to government agencies responsible for essential services and security. As Ukraine's drone attacks on its supply routes and energy facilities elsewhere led to a fuel crisis, in fact, the Ukrainian president has said Ukrainian forces have struck energy and military infrastructure either side of the key bridge linking Crimea and Russia. According to Ukraine's Navy, meanwhile, Russian drones hit a Turkish dry cargo vessel which was sailing under a Panamanian flag. In fact, the Deputy Prime Minister has said a 58-year-old Egyptian cook was killed. 8 other crew members, including some Turkish and Indian nationals, had to evacuate on a lifeboat. Russia has repeatedly attacked Ukraine's maritime export routes, striking vessels and ports vital to foreign trade. In fact, the latest escalation coming at a time when the situation has already been heating up, reaching dangerous levels of volatility. Remember, earlier Russia had vowed to hit back with massive group strikes in response to Ukraine's largest ever drone bombardment of Moscow. Ukrainian forces had launched nearly 200 drones at the Russian capital on Thursday itself, with more than 1,000 drones fired at Russia on Thursday alone. A drone strike hit Moscow's Sol oil refinery last week in one of the biggest air attacks on the city since the war started. On Monday, a huge plume of smoke rose from a production plant in Russia's Voronezh after a strike. As Ukraine said, it had targeted the site. President Zelensky had issued an ultimatum earlier, giving Belarus's leader a week to remove equipment from his country used in the Russian drone attacks on Ukraine. The Ukrainian leader threatened to take action if his message was ignored. And now, in the latest from behind the scenes, the Kremlin has accused Ukraine of threatening the sovereignty of the close Russian ally Belarus, but also said it had no doubts that Minsk was in a position to defend itself. The Kremlin spokesman also said Putin and Lukashenko would be discussing Zelensky's remarks. Big questions continue to hang in the air. What about the peace talks? What would the strategy look like from here onwards on the two sides? Remember, Russia and Ukraine have both intensified attacks on each other in recent weeks, even as the US-led talks on ending the war remain effectively frozen. While some would say the world's attention has pretty much been on the Iran war and the situation in West Asia overall, the Ukraine war needs to end before it has more explosive consequences. Remember, Trump promised to end the war in 24 hours. It's already been the longest 24 hours ever, it seems. The war, by the way, has gone on for over 1,500 days. And as of now, there are no signs of the tensions easing. To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.